Hello, before starting with the questions and answers for this video, let me tell you in just 1 minute what we do. We'll start the timer. We sell 8 types of low-cost investment properties in the UK, from full 2-bed houses for under £70,000 to large 3-bed semi-detached houses for just £115,000. Even our lowest cost houses include a lounge, dining kitchen, 2 bedrooms, family bathroom and a rear yard, all for under £70,000. They are located in 28 areas in the north of England, are fully renovated, guaranteed, and already tenanted to us, so we pay your rent. They come with an easy buying process, a net guaranteed rent system, and long-term management that covers all costs and repairs, enabling our customers to be true passive investors. In the past 15 years, we've sold over 2,500 such houses, which we continue to manage long-term. We have over 1,000 clients who are from all over the world and all regions of the UK, and many have purchased multiple properties. That was 59 seconds. In this series of videos, each week, we cover a particular topic relating to UK investment property. We invite some of our existing customers over a Zoom video call to ask questions that new buyers may want to ask about that topic, and also to talk about themselves and their investment. Today, the questions are all about what type of investment property is best for investment. UK commercial property is falling in demand due to the changes in the online economy. And when investing, buyers are looking at residential property where demand continues to rise. The two main categories of residential property are houses and apartments, and we cover the questions about them and conclude which is best for overall long-term investment. For this video, we're going to connect with Steve Bucknall, who is an existing client who has purchased 3 properties from us over the past 8 to 9 years. He is a UK national, has lived overseas in different countries.
Video should be starting.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for agreeing to ask the questions on this video. How are you?
It's very hot and humid here at the moment. It's less than Abu Dhabi, but it doesn't feel any better. So we're both doing fine. Everything's good. Life is good.
You were in the UAE before, and I think you've now moved to China.
As you know, 12, 13 years, almost 13 years in Abu Dhabi. So as far as the Middle East, I visited China a number of times over those years, met a new wife who lived with me, helped me in Abu Dhabi, and then we decided to call it a day there, finally. Yeah. And we already bought property in China, so we have a couple of properties here also.
Very good.
And decided that this, for one of many reasons, was probably the better place to settle for the time being anyway.
You were working in IT before. Are you still doing that?
I'm a software developer. I've been doing that for the last 30 years. I continue to do that now. I went out to Abu Dhabi and loved the people, loved the place, loved the work that I was involved in, and I was working as part of a project team from the UK for almost 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank, who was my employer, invited me to leave the UK, settle in UAE, and work for them directly. So that's what I did. A little hesitant at first, but very quickly settled in and loved the life there, loved the culture, the mixed culture. Abu Dhabi has so many people. I think the bank has something like 83 different countries.
So Steve, why did you buy these investment properties from us?
I was getting paid a very decent salary. So we were able to save quite large sums of money. This money was building up, sitting in bank accounts that were earning next to nothing, given how bad the interest rates were. And we really felt that we must look to invest the money so that we can get some income from it, just make it work for us. we took the opinion that a safe investment with a guaranteed return was something that suited us far better. When you know exactly what's coming every month, you can plan that in with various other income, whether it's from pensions or from currently still working. But it's a known amount of money that you can budget into your expenses. And the investment with yourselves, completely hands off. So no involvement necessary from me, which given that I'm hopping around Middle East and Far East, would mean that it'd be rather difficult and expensive to drop back to the UK to deal with tenants or sort out any issues that may arise through tenancy of the property. So finding a partner like yourselves has been perfect for us. The capital growth is there because property in the UK has risen steadily since we invested. I think the first one was 9 years ago. So we've realized a decent capital return on that investment, but then we've had the guaranteed income, as you know, every quarter from those properties. It was the right thing to do. I wish we did it sooner. I think if you can remember back that far, we had enough money to buy 2 properties at the time. But I think I'm a cautious kind of person, and as I said, I couldn't afford to lose any money. So as much as you gave me great confidence, I came to the UK, met you, had a look around your premises, your company. I was very impressed with everybody and everything. But still, when you're parting with money, I thought, okay, let's buy one property. Let's go through the process from start to finish. Ultimately see the money arrive in my bank account at the end of the first quarter, which it did and has always done. And it's always been early. I couldn't be happier.
Thanks for that. This video is about questions regarding houses or apartments. Let's go ahead with your questions.
Okay, so my first question is as follows. What are the main differences between houses and apartments in the UK?
Well, houses are landed properties where you own the land as well as the property. They are thus freehold and do not have any ground rent fee or service charges. This is typically the case. They can be classified by size, for example, 2-bed, 3-bed, 4-bed houses, or by type of house, for example, terraced property where all the properties are in a row next to each other, semi-detached or detached where the property is standalone by itself. Most houses are located in suburbs or small towns, not in city centres. On average, houses are older properties than apartments, but they're typically built well and designed to last longer. Apartments are also called flats and are located in buildings that are typically multi-story and contain multiple apartments at each level. 90% of apartments fall into 3 main categories called studios, very small apartments, 1-bed apartments, or 2-bed apartments. Most apartments are in city centres, typically where space is a premium, and high-rise buildings can provide multiple residential properties. Apartments are also relatively new properties when compared with houses, and many are sold while still under constructions, and these are called off-plan apartments. Now, apartments are leasehold. This means that the investor effectively rents the apartment for a very long time, for example, 99 years. The investor is called the leaseholder and rents as per the leasehold agreement. Normally, the leaseholder can sublet the properties to other tenants, usually via letting agents. There are many parties involved in the sale and management of apartments. Typically, the buildings are built by a builder for developers who then sell the apartment leases to investors, usually via a sales company. They may also sell the building itself to the building freeholder. So the actual long-term owner of the apartment becomes the freeholder, who typically owns the building. And then the freeholder may appoint a service manager or sell the service management contract to another company that looks after the common areas of the building and maintains safety, security, and repairs for the building. The investor, who is the leaseholder, has to pay several fees. A fee called the service charge to the service manager, and a fee called the ground rent to the freehold owner, and possibly also management or letting fees to the property agent. They are also responsible for repairs and maintenance of the apartment, and may also have to pay shared costs towards building work, for example, enhanced cladding, if required, to improve fire safety. So these are the main differences between houses and apartments.
Can you explain the different types of apartments for investment, and why does your company not sell them?
Normally, apartments are classified by size, such as studio, 1 bed or 2 bed. They can also be classified as standard residential apartments, student pods, or hotel room apartments. And each of them can also be existing apartment, new or off plan. Now, student and hotel apartments have additional restrictions on what you can do with them. And you have an agreement with the hotel or student management company. For example, you can't rent them like a normal apartment, and student parts can only be used by students, so they can't be used by yourself. Typically, there is no true resale market with these apartments, so the capital growth isn't very good and can be negative. Now, we don't sell apartments for these main reasons. Firstly, the investor is not the true owner of the property, and a lot of our investors are investing for the long term, and they want to own the property which they're investing. Secondly, the net rental yield is lower because of hidden costs, such as service charges, ground rent, and management fees. Thirdly, the capital growth is also lower because the remaining lease gets shorter each year. And finally, there are too many parties in the management and the sale of apartments, and too many agreements with fine print. And when things go wrong, no party takes total responsibility and accountability. So those are the reasons why we don't sell apartments.
There are many companies selling off-plan or new apartments. Are these good value?
Well, off-plan apartments are typically in city or town centres and are built with investors in mind rather than tenants. And they seem attractive as payments can be made in installments. They have the additional risk that they may be delayed or never built. One of the issues is that there is no true market price. Typically, the first apartment in the building may be sold by the developer at a high price to a related party to establish a false high sold price. In the first few years, there are very few resales. So accordingly to the pricing system in the market, this establishes a high price for the apartment, which is not really reflective of the true market price. Apartments also have all the disadvantages of leasehold properties, which we discussed before, and there are too many parties for the investor to deal with.
What are the long-term investment returns when you compare apartments and houses?
Well, like with any property, there are two aspects to investment returns: a rental yield and capital growth. Now, the gross rental yield on apartments seems reasonable. However, the net rental yield is lower because of hidden costs such as ground rent and service charges and management fees. In terms of capital growth, this is also lower because of two main reasons. The first one is that the remaining lease gets shorter each year, so the value of the property is affected. And secondly, charges such as service charges and ground rent can increase with time. And this further reduces the attractiveness of the apartment in the resale market, and thus further reduces its capital value. Thanks for that, Steve. So do you plan to stay in China or come to the UK for retirement?
Certainly, whilst my health is good, and there's no medication or requirements for
Yeah,
doctors, hospitals, and so on,
yeah,
I think it makes sense financially
yeah,
for us to be here. The pound is getting stronger.
yeah,
Confidence in the UK seems to be growing. So um, I'm seeing a rise in the exchange rate. I'm getting more yuan, the Chinese currency, for my
yeah, yeah,
pound.
yeah,
Um, Whereas in the UK, with inflation, the pound is just devaluing like crazy. So I think it makes sense, as I say,
yeah,
for the reasons I've outlined,
yeah,
to
yeah.
stay
Stay
here
in
for the
China.
foreseeable future.
In our view, most of our clients will never sell. They'll keep them for long-term investment and eventually they'll pass on to their children. Is that how you see it? Do you have children?
I've got 3 grown-up children of my own, 8
Right.
grandchildren now.
All right, right,
My daughter informed me there's a 9th one on the way.
right. Very good.
I have a stepson here in China,
Yeah,
so plenty of people to leave something to. So, yeah, I think from the very beginning, I never had any intention of selling the properties.
right.
Um, they're there purely just to supplement my income, supplement my pension,
Yeah.
when, if ever, I decide to retire.
You've recommended us to several clients, Steve, and we're very grateful to you for doing that. Now, when you speak to clients, what is their main concern?
I suppose everybody, myself included, initially,
Yeah,
because I've said it and I've heard it so many times when
yeah,
we've come across your website,
mhm,
read the content, and it's almost has to be one of those, well, it's too good to be true. So it can't
yes,
be true,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
because your website, extremely informative,
mhm,
gives you, I think, everything that you need to know,
mhm,
all your links to various organizations. Um, and so when I'm talking to people, their initial concern is, are these people real or is this a
yeah,
scam? Um,
yes,
yes, we're all fortunate that we've got some spare money. We want to invest the money, but none of us can afford to lose the money. We're
mm,
not rich people. We're just people who've worked hard, saved hard,
yeah,
and want to earn something, in return for that.
yeah,
So we can't afford to lose. So the first, in every case, I've talked to many people, as you said, and
mm,
everybody initially, well, are these guys real?
mm,
And I said, well, absolutely. They've been real for me for like 9 years.
mm, yeah,
As you know, I've bought 3 properties,
yeah,
2 fairly close in the beginning,
yeah,
and one, I think, a year and a half or something afterwards. So
mm.
all of them I've had for many years. It's never been an issue.
What other questions do new clients ask?
The following sort of questions are um, around the process.
Yeah,
How long does it take?
yeah,
I said, but for me, you outlined like a time frame
yeah,
of when things would happen. You met all of
yeah,
those dates, times,
yeah,
and everything happened as you said it would, when you said it would. So really just reassuring people that the process is smooth. You've done it for a very long time for
yeah,
so many people, that you've got it down to a fine art, if you like.
yeah, yeah, no,
Very professional. Um, and I suppose following that, the major concern, what we all want is have you ever had any issues with receiving your rental income?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I've been able to assure them absolutely none.
You get feedback from contacts after they've purchased a property from us.
Many of them drop me
Yeah,
a WhatsApp or an email now and again,
yeah,
and just say, we're just catching up. We're so happy we did the investment. Everything went as planned. Thank you so much for my help and the
yeah,
time that I've given them just
yeah,
to answer their questions, and put their mind at ease. Really, it's about feeling comfortable about sending your money to somebody new that you've discovered on the internet, and you just want to know that it's safe, that it's real, and that you're going to get your returns, and you're not going to have any issues.
Well, Steve, you seem very happy. Have you had any issues being an expat?
I can't honestly think of anything that I would think of as being a problem since I left the UK. My only problem is the lack of availability of real ale, because the Middle East and the Far East, they don't share the taste that many of us do in the Western world for proper beer.
Were you happy with the properties themselves when you purchased them from us?
The first property, in fact, the first property that I bought, given that I was in the building trade, I was a carpenter joiner for 25 years. So I was able to cast professional eye, if you like, over the renovations that I saw in the first property that I purchased, and was impressed. Obviously, I went ahead and bought the property. I could see that it would have been done properly and not just a patch up. And people have asked me the same question. The renovations that they do, and I've said, excuse me, I've always said that. Well, if you think about it, given that you offer a guaranteed rent scheme, and if there's any works necessary, you carry them out at your cost. You don't go back to the client and expect anybody to pay for any subsequent renovations. Then it's obviously within your interest to do the job properly in the first instance, so that you don't have to go back and do it again.
Exactly right.
But seeing it for myself, being a carpenter joiner, built many houses, renovated many houses, I was very happy with what I saw, and I've been able again to pass that on and reassure people when I'm talking to them about their concerns.
Thanks very much for doing this. It's really good to see you again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's nice to see you also. Very nice. You actually don't look any older, Tariq. What's the secret?
It's a trick of touch-up. And dyeing your hair. I mean, that is the other thing.
Oh, well, yeah. I haven't got enough to worry about dyeing. Anyway, good to see you. And as always, if there's anything I can help you with, just let me know. I'll be more than happy.
Thank you. Thanks. Great. Bye. I will just add that if viewers want to learn more about passive investment in low-cost properties in the UK, then please watch our main video shown here, which is divided into 4 sections that cover everything you need to know. Or you can watch one of the 5 videos produced by the BBC that show how we acquire, renovate, and sell low-cost properties. Thank you.